The first signs came not with a bang, but with silence. Deep space monitoring stations across Earth suddenly lost contact with our most distant probes, Voyager 1 and 2, New Horizons, and Pioneer 10. The scientific community initially attributed it to equipment malfunction or solar interference. They were wrong. 3 days later, every astronomical observatory on the planet detected an anomaly at the edge of our solar system. The readings were unlike anything we'd seen before, a massive distortion in space-time that defied our understanding of physics. The public remained largely unaware, but in secured facilities around the globe, military and scientific leaders gathered in emergency sessions. I was there in mission control at NASA when we received the first clear images. The object emerging from the distortion was artificial, a vessel of impossible scale, stretching nearly the length of our moon. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb and reflect light in ways that shouldn't be possible. This was humanity's first concrete evidence that we were not alone in the universe. But we had precious little time to marvel at this discovery. The vessel's trajectory left no room for doubt. It was heading directly toward Earth, and its speed was beyond anything our technology could achieve. Conservative estimates put its arrival within 2 weeks. As panic spread through the highest levels of government, an even more chilling revelation emerged. Our deep space monitoring arrays picked up countless similar signatures appearing throughout the solar system. We weren't dealing with a single ship. This was an armada, an invasion force of unimaginable scale. The world's military forces mobilized in secret, but we all knew our weapons would be useless against beings capable of such technological feats. It was like preparing to defend against a modern army with stone spears. Our only hope lay in finding a way to communicate, to understand their intentions before it was too late. That's when we received the transmission. A simple binary signal at first, but one that quickly evolved into something more complex as their systems interfaced with ours. The message itself was brief, but its implications shook the foundations of human civilization. Your species has been noted. Your system lies within territories claimed by the Eternal Empire. Prepare for assessment and processing. We had less than 2 weeks to prepare our response, to find some way to assert humanity's right to exist as a free species. The United Nations convened in an emergency session. While the best minds on Earth worked tirelessly to understand the alien technology and find any possible advantage. In those dark hours, humanity showed its true strength. Ancient rivalries were set aside as nations united against this existential threat. But what could we possibly offer or demonstrate to an empire capable of crossing the vast gulfs between stars? What makes humanity worthy of continued independence? The answer came from an unexpected source, and it would change everything. But first, we had to make sure our message reached them, and more importantly, that they would listen. Because if we failed, Earth would become just another conquered world in their vast empire, and humanity would face a fate perhaps worse than extinction, the loss of everything that makes us human. The answer came from Dr. Sarah Chen, a quantum physicist who had spent her career studying consciousness and its relationship to quantum mechanics. During a global scientific summit, she presented a theory that would become humanity's last hope. Her research suggested that human consciousness possessed unique properties that affected quantum states in ways that defied conventional physics. The data was revolutionary. When human observers interacted with certain quantum systems, the results differed significantly from automated observations. This wasn't just about the observer effect. There was something fundamentally different about human consciousness that could influence reality at its most basic level. But what made this discovery truly extraordinary was its implications for faster-than-light communication. Dr. Chen's team had discovered that entangled particles responded to human consciousness in ways that suggested we could potentially influence quantum states across vast distances instantaneously. If true, it meant humanity possessed an innate ability that even the Eternal Empire might find valuable. As the alien armada drew closer, military satellites detected smaller scout ships entering the outer atmosphere. They moved with impossible grace, their hulls seemingly immune to air resistance and thermal effects. Our jets scrambled to intercept them, but were ordered to maintain distance. One wrong move could trigger a premature conflict. Meanwhile, in underground facilities across the globe, thousands of volunteers participated in Dr. Chen's experiments, trying to refine our understanding of human consciousness's quantum effects. The data grew stronger with each test, but we needed more than just scientific curiosity to save our species. We needed to demonstrate that humanity could offer something unique to the galaxy. The breakthrough came just 4 days before the main fleet's projected arrival. During a mass synchronized meditation experiment involving 10,000 volunteers, we detected something unprecedented, a ripple in space-time that bore striking similarities to the distortions created by the alien ship's propulsion systems. This was the key we'd been searching for. Somehow, through focused collective consciousness, humans could influence the very fabric of space-time. It was crude and uncontrolled compared to the Empire's technology, but it suggested that our species had barely begun to tap into its true potential. With less than 96 hours remaining, we executed our plan. Using a retrofitted satellite array, we would attempt to transmit not just data, but a concentrated burst of human consciousness directly to the approaching fleet. The message would carry not just words, but the raw essence of human potential, our hopes, fears, dreams, and the unique way we interface with the quantum realm. As the world held its breath, Dr. Chen and her team made their final preparations. The fate of Earth would depend not on our weapons or technology, but on our ability to prove that human consciousness represented something unprecedented in the Empire's vast experience. The question was, would they recognize what we had to offer, or would they see our potential as a threat to be eliminated? The satellite array hummed to life as billions watched their screens, waiting. We had one shot at this. The combined consciousness of 10,000 volunteers, including Dr. Chen, would be broadcast directly to the alien fleet. The timing had to be perfect. Too early and the signal would dissipate, too late and the Empire might interpret it as an attack. The main fleet had now crossed Mars' orbit, their massive ships casting shadows on the red planet as they passed. Our telescopes captured images that defied belief. Each vessel seemed to bend light around it, as if reality itself gave way to their presence. The smaller scout ships had taken up positions around Earth's orbit, forming a perfect geometric pattern that spoke of mathematical precision beyond our understanding. In underground bunkers worldwide, the volunteers entered their meditation chambers. The technology we developed would amplify their consciousness, focusing it through quantum-entangled particles. The energy readings began to spike as thousands of human minds synchronized, creating patterns in the quantum field that our instruments could barely measure. That's when the Empire sent their second message. Assessment begins. Resistance noted. Prepare for processing. The words appeared simultaneously on every digital display on Earth, a demonstration of their absolute control over our technology. But we didn't waver. This wasn't resistance. It was communication on a level they hadn't anticipated. The synchronized consciousness reached critical mass. Dr. Chen's brainwave patterns showed she had achieved the deepest level of quantum synchronization ever recorded. The other volunteers followed, their combined consciousness creating ripples in space-time that our instruments detected spreading outward from Earth. Suddenly, the scout ships moved. Their perfect geometric pattern shifted, concentrating around the point where our quantum signal was strongest. We couldn't tell if this was a defensive move or if we caught their attention. The main fleet accelerated, cutting their arrival time in half. The quantum readings went off the scale. The volunteers' consciousness had merged into something greater, creating effects we'd never seen in any previous test. The fabric of space-time around Earth began to warp and twist in patterns eerily similar to the Empire's ships. We were affecting reality itself, but we had no way to control it. The Empire's vessels began emitting energy signatures we'd never detected before. Our quantum sensors were registering impossible readings, suggesting that the space between their ships and our broadcast point was somehow folding in on itself. Either we'd made first contact on a level we never imagined possible, or we triggered something we couldn't understand. Dr. Chen's vital signs spiked dangerously high as she pushed herself deeper into the quantum synchronization. The other volunteers' readings followed suit, their combined consciousness reaching levels that threatened to overwhelm our monitoring systems. We were crossing boundaries of human potential that no one had dreamed possible, but at what cost? The Empire's main fleet had reached lunar orbit, their massive ships now clearly visible in Earth's sky. The moment of truth approached. Would they recognize what we were showing them, or had we just demonstrated why humanity needed to be controlled? The answer would come in the next few moments, and it would determine the fate of our entire species. The impossible happened at that moment. Dr. Chen's consciousness somehow broke through. Her brainwave patterns shifted into configurations we'd never seen before, and through the monitoring systems we heard her voice, but it wasn't coming from her body. Somehow, she was broadcasting directly into our minds, and we weren't the only ones receiving. "They're not here to conquer us," her voice echoed in the thoughts of every human on Earth. "They're running from something. The Empire. They're refugees." The revelation hit like a thunderbolt as images flooded our collective consciousness. Glimpses of an ancient war, of entire galaxies being consumed by something that defied description, of an empire that hadn't come to conquer, but to survive. The quantum synchronization had created something unprecedented. A bridge not just between human minds, but between species. Through this connection, we saw the truth. The Empire's massive fleet carried the last survivors of 1,000 dying worlds. They weren't processing planets for conquest. They were searching for species capable of helping them fight back against an enemy that threatened all life in the universe. But this revelation came with a terrible price. The quantum bridge had opened both ways, and through it came a warning from the Empire itself. Our broadcast had been detected by the very force they feared. We had inadvertently created a beacon visible across the galaxy, and now something was coming, something that even the Empire's vast technological power had failed to defeat. Dr. Chen's vitals became critical as she struggled to maintain the connection. Through her, we received fragmented images of the enemy, beings that existed outside normal spacetime, that fed on consciousness itself. The Empire had fled across countless galaxies trying to escape them, only to discover that humanity might possess the key to fighting back, if we survived long enough to master it. The quantum sensors detected new distortions forming at the edge of our solar system, but these weren't Empire ships. The patterns were wrong, chaotic, like tears in the fabric of reality itself. We had less than 48 hours before these entities reached Earth, and the Empire faced a choice: flee again, or stand with humanity against an enemy that had chased them across the stars. Through the quantum link, Dr. Chen made a desperate proposal. The Empire had the technology, and humans had this unique connection to consciousness and quantum reality. If we could combine both, we might have a chance, but it would require something unprecedented, a complete merger of human and imperial technology, with no guarantee of success. The entire planet held its breath as the Empire's response came not in words, but in actions. Their massive ships began to move, but not away from Earth as we feared. They were taking up defensive positions, preparing for battle. For the first time in their long retreat, they had found something worth fighting for. The merging of imperial technology with human consciousness began as the enemy approached. Dr. Chen and the volunteers were connected directly to the Empire's quantum defense systems, their minds joining with alien technology in ways we never thought possible. The Empire's ships glowed with a new energy, a combination of their advanced technology and humanity's unique quantum signature. The enemy emerged from the tears in space-time, beings of pure darkness that seemed to absorb both light and reality itself. Our combined consciousness could finally perceive them clearly, ancient entities that fed on the quantum essence of intelligent life, consuming entire civilizations to fuel their endless hunger. Through Dr. Chen's enhanced connection, we learned the truth. These entities weren't just consuming life, they were consuming consciousness itself from the universe, literally eating away at the fabric of reality. Each civilization they devoured brought the universe closer to total entropy, to a final darkness from which nothing could escape. The battle for Earth began. Imperial ships moved in perfect synchronization with human thought, achieving maneuvers that neither species could have managed alone. The enemy struck with weapons that ignored physical defenses, attempting to drain consciousness directly from their targets. But something unexpected happened. The human quantum signature, amplified through imperial tech, created a feedback loop that the entities couldn't process. Dr. Chen pushed herself to the absolute limit, directing the combined consciousness of humanity through the Imperial network. The entities recoiled as their attacks were not just blocked, but reversed. For the first time in their ancient existence, they experienced resistance they couldn't simply absorb and consume. The final confrontation came as Dr. Chen discovered the entity's fatal weakness. They had no consciousness of their own. They could only consume and copy the consciousness of others. When faced with the pure, original quantum signature of human consciousness, they couldn't adapt fast enough to maintain their form in our reality. The combined fleet launched its final assault, not with weapons, but with pure consciousness. Thousands of human minds, channeled through Imperial technology, created a quantum cascade that shattered the entity's connection to our spacetime. It began to dissolve, their stolen consciousness dispersing back into the universe. As the last enemy ship vanished, Dr. Chen made one final discovery through the quantum link. The Empire hadn't chosen Earth by random chance. They detected something unique in human consciousness generations ago. We were the first species they'd found whose minds could naturally bridge the quantum realm. We weren't just refugees to be saved or primitives to be conquered. We were the key they'd been searching for across the galaxies. The Empire's ships took up permanent positions around Earth, no longer as conquerors or refugees, but as allies. As Dr. Chen recovered, she shared the Empire's final message. This was just the beginning. Somewhere out there, more of these entities existed, and Earth would now serve as the training ground for a new form of defense, one that combined the best of both our species. Humanity's real test was just beginning. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in human history. The Empire's ships became a common sight in our skies, their crews working alongside humans to establish the first interstellar defense network. Dr. Chen led the development of a new training program, teaching humans to harness their natural quantum abilities, while Imperial scientists adapted their technology to work in harmony with our unique consciousness. The quantum link revealed more about our unlikely allies. The Empire, once spanning 3 galaxies, had been running for centuries before finding Earth. Now, their vast knowledge was being shared with humanity, but not as masters teaching servants, as equals working to protect all conscious life in the universe. Their humility in acknowledging our unique abilities helped ease the fears many had about their presence. Research facilities around the world began producing hybrid technologies that merged Imperial engineering with human intuition. The first successful tests of consciousness-powered, faster-than-light travel opened up possibilities that neither species had imagined possible. We weren't just learning to defend ourselves. We were pioneering entirely new ways of exploring the cosmos. Dr. Chen's recovery brought another revelation. Exposure to the quantum link had permanently altered her consciousness, allowing her to maintain a constant connection to both human and Imperial minds. She became the bridge between our species, helping translate not just words but entire concepts that had no equivalent in either culture. Through her, we learned that the Empire's rigid hierarchy had been born of desperate survival, not conquest, and they were as eager to learn from our adaptability as we were to learn from their technology. The threat wasn't over. More entities existed in the dark spaces between galaxies. But now we had hope. Each day brought new breakthroughs in our understanding of consciousness and its role in the universe. The Empire's vast fleet, combined with humanity's quantum abilities, stood ready to face whatever emerged from the darkness. As I stand here today, watching Imperial ships and human vessels training together in high orbit, I can't help but think how close we came to losing everything. Our salvation came not from weapons or technology, but from the very thing that makes us human, our consciousness, our ability to imagine possibilities that others couldn't see. In finding our greatest allies, we also found ourselves. The warning we received wasn't just about Earth or the Empire. It was about the nature of consciousness itself and our role in protecting it. Together, we discovered that the real power of humanity wasn't in our technology or our weapons, but in our minds and our ability to connect with the quantum fabric of reality itself. We are no longer alone in the universe, and the stars are no longer just distant lights. They're beacons, calling us to join a greater community of conscious beings, ready to face whatever the darkness holds.